Hello, good evening. It's Chris with Echoes in the Mountains. We're here live tonight as we're going to be joined by, in just a momentarily, Ryan Finds Truth. We're also going to be joined by some special guests tonight. We have Jennifer Santanello, the mother of Layla Santanello, who went missing 3 years ago here in Kingsport, Tennessee. We're going to examine her case tonight. We're going to go over some points. We're going to let Jennifer kind of tell Layla's story tonight. And we are also going to be joined by drone expert, the legend himself, Gene Robinson. Gene's going to come on. He's gonna listen to what Jennifer has to say. He's going to listen to what me and Ryan have to say, and he's going to give us some of his insight tonight. And so, without any further ado, I know that all of you all are waiting for the wonderful Ryan Finds Truth.
Hey Chris, how's it going?
How you doing tonight, Ryan?
Good. Sound working okay?
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Everything's working flawless tonight. We've even got your
Perfect.
face over here on the stream, Ryan. So we've been working
Hey
together
everyone.
in Layla's case recently. We've went off of some of what Gene has gave us to search for Layla recently. We went out, we done a large search with just me and you. We covered a lot of land. We put our drone in the air and we mapped out an area in West Kingsport that is still very promising. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that area, Ryan?
So Gene thankfully did an analysis for us, gave Chris the general, I guess, terrain area that we should focus on. And what was cool is Chris and I arrived thinking we were going to do the stadium area. Hey Ellie, good to see you. And Chris is droning. Well, we did a kind of a on the ground search of the area, and Chris immediately noticed next to the stadium there was a huge field, gravel pit type land, very isolated. And so Chris suggested, hey, let's take a drive around there and check it out and see if there's an entry point. And that was the beginning of, I think, one of the most interesting searches. And Chris and I established, I feel like, Chris, I feel like we've established a system with your initial droning, mapping out an entire area, looking for interesting targets. And then we decided, where we were going to focus on, and then get the canine on the ground and see what we can do. So it was an interesting search, and I'm looking forward to your perspective on it coming out soon, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a video from my perspective. Well, there's already a video out from Ryan's perspective on his channel. Go check it out, like, subscribe there. But we'll have a video coming out very soon in my perspective. It's a really good video. I look forward to sharing it with you all. Just kind of show you what I do as a drone pilot. Kind of let you get in my mind a little bit and see my planning, what goes into planning a drone mission, what goes into running our mission, and how it ultimately leads to us boots on the ground searching for different areas of interest. So without any further ado, we're gonna bring Gene Robinson on next. We're gonna talk to Gene for a moment. And how are you tonight, Gene?
I am well, Chris. How are y'all?
Fantastic. So for those of you that don't know, I mentioned him just a few minutes ago. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Gene Robinson. Gene runs RP Search Services. He works very closely with Tim Miller and EquiSearch down in Texas. Gene is he's been on a lot of searches. He knows the ins and outs of search and rescue. He knows the ins and outs of how to run a drone SAR mission. So Gene, we're going to bring Jennifer Santanello on here. I'm going to introduce you all. So we've got Jennifer Santanello on the screen now. This is Layla Santanello's mother. How are you tonight, Jen?
I'm I forgot to water my plants, and so I'm trying to do that real quick. And a lot of them were very, very wilty. I'm okay. It's been a very, very difficult, rough day, but that has nothing to, well, has a little to do with the case, but not everything to do with it. And yeah, it's been a wild day. But yeah, I'm hanging in there. I'm here, and that's what matters, right?
That's good. I don't know how far you are from me, but I just got pounded with a heavy rainstorm just a few minutes ago. That may help you in watering your plants out there.
Well, I just started to feel a little bit of drops, so I'm like, yay! But that doesn't always mean anything. Like the mountains here, like a lot of times, it's so strange. Like it could be raining, I don't know, like 2 blocks over, like piss
That is true.
pouring, and it's not here. So it's just frustrating sometimes.
Gene, I would
And
imagine
Ugh.
you get the
to
same type of
Jennifer's
weather
defense,
down in Texas. Is that right?
Oh no, it's right now it's hotter than 10 acres of burning stumps. It's
Uh,
to
hey,
So
Jennifer's
Gene.
defense, by the way, Jennifer's
Go ahead.
got a lot going on. When we were texting tonight, and she's got her kid coming. I think she's the only
We
one
found
watching
no,
her
I
kid.
found a
Opie.
babysitter. He went to Shane's house
Oh
for a little
yay,
while,
awesome.
so
She
yeah.
so if she seems discombobulated, it's not her fault. Jennifer's got a lot going on. So
A
thank you for
lot.
being here, Jennifer.
Yeah, you got
Well,
it.
at the end of the day, she's got a missing kid out there, right?
Well, there's that, but
That
then like
alone is
that's
enough
like
to make anyone discombobulated, right?
yeah.
So, with
But can
that
you
being
imagine like living your life? Right? Think about it. I gave birth to 3 kids, okay? I also have responsibility for 3 other kids, all of whom are teenagers and up. Um, and I gotta find a chair. Hang on. There's one. Ugh, I feel like crap. I'm sorry.
oh, you're fine.
It's totally fine.
Oh, and I've done lost my coffee. Where did it go? I'm gonna grab that while I talk to you.
So,
Um, yeah. So like, imagine like what life is like with that many kids and that many responsibilities and just like left, right, and center stuff's coming at you. At this point, I'm like a whole like public figure, right? And so like people love to bash, trash, or like attach themselves to me, even if it's in like a negative way, because that brings them attention and clout and all those fun things.
right.
So like it's just it's like it's never ending like bombs being dropped on your noggin.
Right. So before we kind of get into this and we kind of start explaining what happened to your daughter, I do want to let you know, we may talk about some things. You may talk about some things that are just not great memories. If you don't
Yeah.
want to talk about anything tonight, it's perfectly fine. We're just here to go over your case, see what Gene has as far as insight, and if there's anything more that he can provide to us to try to help find your daughter. So we're going to go back 3 years ago. Um, and 3 years ago, here in Kingsport, Tennessee, we're going to take you to the AmeriCorps Hotel. Now,
Yeah.
you all, can you kind of explain to me what significance the AmeriCorps Hotel has for with your daughter?
Yeah. Okay, so let's take it back a little bit further.
Okay.
Um my boyfriend, right? Like my life partner, okay? And I hate that I'm 44 and I say boyfriend because I'm 44, but also like I don't know, both of us have this weird thing about marriage in general or whatever. Not the point. Anyway, when we first met, he had just been released from a halfway house after being incarcerated for I don't know 5 or 6 years. Um, and I only bring that up because he was working full time at a plant, and with the spare time, he was working overnight shifts at the AmeriCorps Hotel as like a doorman, right? Like he would like check people in or whatever at night. And he knows that place really, 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 really well, right? Okay. Well, skip to, I don't know, 18 months later or so, Nova Grace is born, Layla's daughter, and they come and move in with us for like 6 weeks. She had her own place, but like the baby was jaundiced and she needed help with the feedings and all that stuff. And at that point, I kind of had to like arm him a little bit. And I was like, you told me that when we moved here, you would switch to day shift and quit that night job at the hotel. And so we did. Okay? Fast forward, trigger warning. Fast forward to 3 months after Nova was born. Nova, myself, and Opie and the baby all go up to New Jersey to introduce Nova to. There you go. You got it right there on the screen. And while we are out of town, we're introducing Nova to Layla's father's side of the family. While we're out of town, we're there about 3 or 4 days. We find out that my father, who was deathly ill, like I wasn't expecting him to live much longer anyway. But he decided he wanted to go out on his own terms, and he made the choice to leave the earth. If I don't know how else to say that without like getting flagged or whatever.
Right.
This devastated us to the point where Layla and I especially, because we both had very, very special bonds with him, and it destroyed us, right? Well, I had Opie, okay, and I had my own home, and I had my other kids. Layla was alone in her apartment with the baby. She was working, she was dealing with her grief the best she could, but she didn't have a lot of like support, like close by, like in her home, etc., etc. Um, about 3 months after that, she met her boyfriend Michael, and Michael was a recovering addict at the time. I need a tissue, and I thought I brought one with me. And her thing was, and I'm a recovering addict as well, and she watched me go through addiction, and I was always honest with her. She was the oldest kid. She watched me go through all that. She watched me go through rehab. She watched me like struggle to recover, all the things. And so my feelings about Michael were not great. At the time, however, she insisted that she had helped him detox and that she had got him clean and that or that she was his angel and they were gonna, get married and live happily ever after. Which, of course, at their ages, which at the time was like 18, like I knew that was not going to be the case, right? Like, it ain't like I ain't been there, Excuse me. I did not. I've been crying a lot today, and my sinuses are all a mess. Anyway.
It's okay.
Okay. We go. I don't know. Maybe 8, 9, 10 months later. My dad had passed. He left my mom money. She sold the house. She bought 3 trailers on the same road in the same trailer park so that she, Layla, and my niece Trish, who is only 4 years younger than me, could all be close, right? Trish is paraplegic. She's in a wheelchair. She needs family around, right? Okay, great. Michael and Layla moved in the trailer right next to Trish. Oh, wait, I left out the part that Trish is also someone who is kind of like in and out of active addiction pretty regularly. At the time, she was clean. Everybody moves into this trailer park. And, I'm trying to think. At some time over that summer, Michael convinced her to experiment, right? And it was just pills at first, but things happen very, very quickly, especially when you're grieving, especially when you have like old wounds that haven't healed yet. You know, there's just a lot going on for her, and this is the man that she's fallen in love with. So yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. It'll be fun. Like whatever. A year later, um, actually, I'm sorry. I'm not the timeline's all off. Okay, that October she ended up getting evicted from the trailer. My mom owned the trailer, but she didn't own the land, and she was behind on her land payments, and she had to be evicted. So she ends up packing her stuff in storage and moves in with Michael at his mom's house, and things just went way downhill from there. Like, the day they moved, she brought Nova here and was like, hey, can you keep her until I find a place? Sure, babe. I got you.
Hey, Jen,
Yeah?
just just real quick, this will help you, I think, because you've got so much in your head. I know from the beginning to the very end, so there's so many details, and you shared this a lot. Everyone should know because if they watch your channel, you shared so many of these details,
Okay,
especially with
okay, okay,
Michael. And
okay.
what will
I don't know.
really
I feel
help,
like the
especially
backstory is a little important. But anyway, we can fast forward.
it is,
We
it
can
is
fast
for
forward. So
Jean's for Jean.
what? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say,
I did.
I was just gonna say for Jean's sake, it's the I think the part of the timeline where the location comes into account, like why certain locations are important. I think will give him a lot of
Okay.
good background.
All right. All
So
right. I will fast forward. Um. So she had only been in active addiction at this point for maybe 8 months. Okay, that's the point of all of that talk. Um. I'm trying to think. The weekend before she disappeared is important. There's a Friday night where Layla and Michael got into an argument over owing his sister roughly $40, maybe a little more. I don't know. Right? They had money in their pocket. They had $800 in their pocket that they had just conned out of a guy, and the sister had been trying to get a hold of them for all day, and they just ignored her. And so she went and sat at the family house. She had her own place, but she sat at the family house all day waiting for them to come back. She knew they eventually would. When they get back, Michael blames Layla. Now he's got the money in his pocket, or she does, or maybe he handed it to her and was like, "Hold this, I'll go deal with Julie." I don't know, but he's like, "Oh, I gave it to Layla, and she was supposed to give it to you. I don't know what happened." So he basically throws her under the bus. She and Julie like have an altercation. I don't know how physical it was. Whatever. She ends up being pissed off, packs her stuff, leaves. She spends the first night with a chick. I feel like the chick's name might have been Shannon, but I don't know for sure. Um, and they were running around looking for a specific substance that they were unable to find. And I don't know what she did during the day Saturday, but I do know that she ended up at this older lady, Jen's house, with a bunch of other people her age. And Saturday night, I hear from Layla. No, I hear from Michael. He can't find her. He's worried about her. This, that, and the third. So I start texting her like crazy. Well, he has access to that account, so he's reading my text to her. At some point, she leaves Jen, and from what I understand, Michael had finally tracked her down at Jen's and like got a hold of someone she was with. And whenever she heard that he was coming to get her, she bailed. Okay? So she leaves with this guy who she's known for like ever and ever and ever and ever. And he takes her back to his place. He lets her take a shower. He feeds her. He does all the fun things, whatever. That's Sunday. Well, it's Saturday night into Sunday morning. He hands her a tablet to use because she doesn't have a phone, and she texts me, "I'm okay," right? Because like she had gotten into her own messenger and see where Michael was like messaging me from it, and I'm okay, and blah 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 blah. The next morning I wake up, I'm like, hey, I'm so glad you're okay. Like, please be safe, blah blah blah. I love you. And her last words to me were, I love you so much more. And then she ended up with that Austin guy for, I don't even know. I gotta turn this down. It's like really bothering me. Sorry.
At his
Yeah, it was killing me. Um, and sometime either Sunday or Monday, there's some kind of altercation at Austin's house where her stuff gets stolen, like the laptop, all the clothes like everything she had gets stolen. I don't know about the money, but like everything she had gets stolen or whatever. Monday afternoon, Monday evening, she ends up at the AmeriCorps with this guy. I always forget his name. I always want to call him Spencer, but that's not his name. Um, and that is the night that people witnessed her running around like a crazy person and being paranoid and like just not making any sense. And this is a piece of information that I don't think I have shared publicly. It's her like Layla. Layla smoked her drugs. Okay, she did not inject, right? And I don't think Michael would let her. I think that was part of it. And she convinced this guy to inject her, and it was like a speedball, right? So it was like a downer mixed with an upper, and that is what caused her to run around like a psychopath and all that fun stuff. Well, at some point, she gets talked to by management. Stop aggravating, the people who live here. You got to find a ride or find your room or something. Don't make me come out here again.
And that's here at the AmeriCorps Hotel.
That's at the AmeriCorps. Now, she ends up hiding in the laundry room. The laundry room is all glass, which doesn't even make any sense. You can't really hide in there. But whatever. She's hanging out in the laundry room. As she's in there, she sees the police pull up. They're not there for her. They're there for something else. And she takes off. She runs into the woods, and no one sees her again until the following morning. The warehouse workers, it was like between 6 and 7. The shift starts at 7, so people were like on their way into work. They're like kind of mulling around outside. There's a group of dudes outside.
Jennifer, the warehouse right down the road, right? That
It's
whole
like,
line of
it's behind the AmeriCorps.
yeah.
So I'm trying to look at this. If you show me the AmeriCorps, I'm trying to make it make sense in my head right now.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
So if you're looking at my screen, you got John B. Dennis that runs right here.
Okay.
Stone Drive runs right
The
here.
AmeriCorps, from where
Right
I'm
here.
looking, okay, I don't know if we're north or south. It's right there. Show me again. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So you see those little woods next to it?
Yep.
Yep, that's where Layla slept. And then you see there's a
Mhm.
field.
Just to the north or
Yeah, go
up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, go up, go up, go up, go up. That's the field. Keep going up. And that's the warehouse. Now today the warehouse is gated off. It didn't look like that before. It wasn't gated off. It was like gravel, like all that stuff. So she gets up, she walks over there, she approaches the men, asks to bum a cigarette, nobody smokes, and she wanders off even further past that building. So if you keep going up,
All
Okay.
the
if
way
you
to the
move,
trail.
yeah, the trail's about. See those woods back there? There's a
Yep.
trail back there called the Green Belt. That is where she went to. And then for the
Okay.
longest time, it was believed that that is the last place she was ever seen. Okay? So everyone
I'm
up
going to
until
stop you
very.
for just a moment here, and then
Uh-huh.
I'll let you continue.
Go ahead.
Gene, the green belt, if you look and you see right here kind of where the wood line is alongside the neighborhoods, you can kind of see this is a little creek area, and this is where the green
Yes.
belt runs.
Yes.
Well,
Also.
follow. Sorry, just real quick, Chris. You got to
Go
follow
ahead.
the. You see the You can see it come out of the yeah, you're on it right now. See the underpass? The trail actually follows that line of buildings and
It
goes right
goes
under. No,
further
a
and
little
further
further.
and further. Yes.
Look,
Yep.
right near that field, actually.
I will tell you, that all those there's all those neighborhoods back there. That green belt is easy access to all those neighborhoods if you're on foot.
Mhm.
There's a neighborhood called Highland that I know for a fact she frequented over those like 4 or 5 days that she wasn't with Michael. So she got there via, walking. So anyway, most recently, that last seen location has changed. So up until very, very recently, that was the starting point, okay? However, the law enforcement now believes that she was actually last seen at the West Side Inn, which is a few miles down Stone Drive.
Yeah, so for our viewers, I'm going to take us over to the West Side Inn right now.
Yeah, good thinking.
It may take us just a moment to load here, but
And
this
t-
is
and
the West Side Inn.
Today this is demolished. Today this is demolished.
It's been
as well.
demolished. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yep, and there's now a
Hyundai
car lot.
dealership.
Yep,
Yeah,
a
it's a
Friendship
Hyundai
dealership
Uh-huh.
that sits right here. But this is the old West Side Inn location. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here so we can kind of see Kingsport.
Uh-huh.
We've got the AmeriCorps Hotel right here, guys.
Right.
Stone Drive is a main corridor that runs through Kingsport.
Yes.
Now, I do want to kind of point out, Jennifer, that Stone Drive has many traffic cameras on it. And I'm not sure if we had flock cameras on Stone Drive back then. I don't think so.
we
I think they
didn't.
were just recently installed.
Yes,
But
and even
we did
a
have
lot of the
traffic cameras.
a lot of them weren't quite there yet. So like the one by Duncan, yes, like there's a few, but there weren't as many as there are now.
Right. So if they would have
Okay.
took Stone Drive from AmeriCorps down West Stone Drive, they would have at least been hit by the traffic cam here on North Eastman Road.
Right.
This is a major corridor here in Kingsport. And
However,
anyone who goes through here,
if someone gave her a ride,
okay, yep,
you know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
it's a long walk. Okay.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I would not want to make that walk.
No, and she was
No,
shoeless. She had no shoes on.
Jennifer, didn't the police say that she went there with other people? She didn't actually walk to West Side. Wasn't she driven, or do you know?
No, they say that they still don't know exactly how she got there.
Okay.
So from AmeriCorps Hotel to West Side Inn is roughly 3.5 miles down West State Drive.
Distance. Yeah.
So someone.
I mean, you could do it, but if you don't have shoes on, and you're dope sick,
then you probably ain't going to be doing it, right?
Right.
So
unlikely.
Let's say someone gives her a ride to the West Side Inn. She goes to the West Side Inn, and Detective Claire does say that in his recent interview that he spent, or that Layla had spent her time at AmeriCorps Hotel, and then she moves to a different location inside of Kingsport.
Right.
And that's where we're getting to the West Side Inn. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now Detective Claire goes on to say that this is the location where Layla lost her life. Do we? Can you give us some insight on that? Do we know how Detective Claire knows that to be true? Are you able to share that?
I can tell you. Okay, first I want to start with the how did she get there? Okay, there is a theory that cannot be proven. However, during the period of time that Layla disappeared, there were like 3 or 4 women her age that overdosed at the West Side Inn. Okay, one of whom was one of Layla's very good friends. Okay, and she overdosed 2 weeks after Layla disappeared. She had a room at Westside Inn. Okay, we can no longer interview her or ask her any questions, obviously, but it
Right.
is very possible that her name was Nevaeh Slaughter. God rest her soul, and in prayers for her family because I'm sure they're still devastated. Um, but it's very possible that that's how she got there. I don't know. We don't know that for sure, right? We have no idea. Because there's like this 12-hour period from 7 a to 7 p where no one saw her that we know of or that is still around to say.
Okay. So 7
There,
a.m. to 7 p.m.
right, there's an empty space. So, sorry, what was the original question?
So we were talking about how Layla got from over
Right,
here at
right,
AmeriCorps Hotel, how she
right.
had went to the West Side Inn,
Oh, and
and
how
this
do
is
we know
where
she ended
she
up
had lost
there?
her life. How do we
Right.
know that this is where she lost her life?
Okay, I can tell you that there is one witness
Okay.
who has stated that she was in fact there by 7 p.m. I cannot go into detail about what the witness says happened, um, but we do have the one witness, and I'll tell you other things. The witness did not come forward on her own. The witness unburdened herself 6 months later. The witness unburdened herself to a friend who couldn't carry it, right? And that friend like immediately went to the police, unloaded, and then they had to track her down, or the witness down, and I do a bunch of interviews and da 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 da. Now that witness also believed that she knew where Layla could be found. However, if you're looking at the rocky terrain and the hollers, and if even sober, I could, if you were a young person who had just started driving, even sober, if something traumatic just happened and I drove you to a holler in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, the likelihood of you being able to find that exact spot 6 months later,
Mhm.
slim to none, right? And she definitely wasn't sober. So you mix all of those things together, I believe that she just doesn't remember because she did take the cops out there multiple times to try and like find the spot and never could.
Right. Okay. So we know would you say that we're about 100% sure, 90% sure, or is it like a 50-50 that she passed away at West Side Inn that night?
I can tell you that one organization believes it to like a 99.9%. I can
Okay.
also say that the other, and I won't say which one which, I say that the other, and the other one is like 60-40 on it.
Okay. So we're going to get into this to a
Okay.
hard topic to discuss here, Jennifer. But this is going to give us a profile. This is going to
Right.
allow Gene to kind of understand what kind of case we're looking at here.
Okay.
So we're at the West Side Inn. Um, this is the last place. This is the place where we think that Layla lost her life.
Right.
It's being said that there were some substances maybe that, and you've kind of discussed that a little bit on the
Yeah.
live so far,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
some
Yeah.
substances
Oh,
were
I
being
can
used.
almost, I don't know for sure, but I can almost guarantee you that that's why she went there.
Right. So
Right.
is it safe to say that we think that the most likely scenario is that this was an accidental overdose.
I don't know about accidental.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So we think for sure that it was an overdose. We just don't know that it was accidental or on purpose.
And I
Is that
don't
correct?
necessarily want to say for sure either.
I understand.
The
I
the
understand.
most likely scenario is overdose.
Okay.
Okay.
So in your opinion, go ahead, continue. What do you think?
I think that there's 1,000 other ways she could have died. I think that maybe she was trying. Maybe they were trying to enlist her to trade herself for drugs. Maybe they were trying to enlist her and turn her into a sex worker. Maybe you know what I mean. She fought because my daughter's a fighter and she doesn't work for anyone. And you know what I'm saying? Like I just I don't know. Yes, the most likely it was accidental. However, the story I was told almost sounds intentional.
Okay.
And Jennifer, the OD story, what you're, I mean, and I know you can't say because your team, people around you are talking to people, so a lot of it is rumor, but the stories that you're hearing do lean you in a direction, doesn't it? As far as the OD goes,
Oh yeah.
from witness.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And then even like if y'all, if, I don't know if any of you all, and I don't know how everyone here feels about psychics or whatever, but like the Sloan Bella video really threw me for a loop. Now, I don't think she's got everything exactly right. Okay? But there were a lot of things that made sense. There were a lot of things that lined up. There were a lot of details that she couldn't have known. Like, yeah.
Right. So let's say if we're going with the overdose, the probability of being an overdose, and the people with her were probably also in an impaired state of mind, and they are deciding they need to get rid of a body,
Right.
because the last thing they want to do is call the police,
Right.
especially if it was possibly that this was an intentional overdose.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we go into
But wait a minute.
yeah,
Back
go
up.
ahead. Go ahead.
Even if
Back up.
it's an intentional overdose, she was a known addict. That's not something that I would worry about. My bigger question is was she beaten up prior? Was she sexually abused prior? What you know what I mean? Like is there DNA of one or multiple people on her and that's why they hit her?
Well, I can't say for sure, but you know, even if it wasn't any of this and it was just an overdose, if everyone else is in the same state of mind, it could be a panic. Especially, let's say, and I don't know, you can correct me if this is something that's absolutely wouldn't happen, but let's say that they were using a drug that has been recently classified as a weapon of terrorism.
Ooh,
Uh,
like what kind of drug? What that I've not heard that. What is that?
Ryan, am I able to on YouTube? Am I able to kind of talk about?
People, even the word, like people say rug instead of,
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you can mention, I think the name of it is okay. If you know the type of rug that they used,
okay.
I think it's okay to say it.
So we're talking about the very powerful one that starts with Finn.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If
They're calling it that. I didn't know that.
I didn't realize that,
I don't
Coach.
know what they're calling it.
No. 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 I mean, you called it a something about
Oh,
terrorism or.
so yes, they have classified it as what is it, Gene, that they've said?
Well, just go ahead and say it. I mean, everybody knows what it is. It's fentanyl. Come on. If there's nothing that this podcast does, it at least warns people that there are some folks out there that would like to see fentanyl be widespread and cause much disruption in all of our communities. So,
Well, I feel
you
like
know,
we're already there.
well, absolutely, we are.
Yeah.
And, there have been public safety responders who have been hospitalized just by exposure.
I know.
Right.
So just go ahead. Let's say it. It's a potential disruptor, is what it is.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So if this is the drug that they were all dealing with, it is very possible that they 100% would not want to call the police, because it's
Can I
possible that they could all go to jail.
Right, I hear that. Absolutely. The Tennessee state laws need to change in a lot of ways, and that way, as soon as I get my strength back, that's something I will definitely be rallying for. However, I want to remind you that 3, 4, 5 other girls overdosed at that hotel inside that same month, and a couple of them were moved from where they expired. One of them was found in a closet in an empty hotel room. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were all found almost immediately. Why did my daughter vanish?
Yeah.
So that's the $1 million question, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I want to let's get into let's get into past there, and let's talk about the disposal. Gene, I kind of want to get into this, and talk about the profiles of these cases, and on accidental overdoses or not accidental overdoses, when you have a group of people, 2 or 3 people that are trying to dispose of a body.
Right.
What are we looking at here, Gene?
Well, the one thing that's a common thread through this, is just about everybody involved is in an altered state. So let's look at both sides, intentional and unintentional. With the drug that is coming into our communities these days is so powerful that the old way of doing it is they would get the raw drug in and they would cut it, and they
Right.
would cut it, and they would cut it. Yeah, as an addict, I'm sure you know all about this, but um, it depends on how many hands it's been through before it gets to you. And if it hasn't been through very many hands, you could be getting a wallop of a dose
Oh, yeah. Oh,
without
yeah.
even knowing it. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Yep.
even though we don't think that it was unintentional, ignorance comes into play on this, because
Of
whoever
course.
whoever had the drug and gave it to her may not know how powerful it was at the time.
Right.
Right.
Okay, and even if they did have thoughts of you got to look at intent. What was the possible intent? How many enemies did she have? Did she have people that thought
Uh,
that they could be exposed because of her?
Mm.
Right. Um, so let's kind
Okay, we
of,
just lost him.
yeah, I'm gonna kind
Uh,
of I'm gonna put her backstage for a moment. I want us to kind of discuss, here on the map, Gene. Let's say if West Side Inn was the last location, what would be the radius that we need to start looking at?
well, zoom in on the west side. Zoom in
Okay.
on it. Okay, you've got a very urban area.
Okay.
There's not
Yep.
going to be too many places that you're going to be able to easily take someone who has just expired and stash them somewhere where they wouldn't be found very, very quickly.
Right.
So it not knowing what any of the other individuals had as far as resources are concerned, one would have to consider that there was at least a vehicle available to them, some way, somehow.
Okay. So if we had, yep. So they would have to have a vehicle to move her quickly, right?
I don't think she's anywhere. If it was intentional, or even if it was unintentional, and if it was a panic situation, she's not going to be in the immediate area.
Mhm. In that
They're going to want to
scenario,
get
Gene,
her out of there.
in that scenario, statistically, is there like a general? I know we always talk about radius. In situations like this, is there like you've got people who are potentially they're high themselves or whatever? Do they usually stay within a certain distance of where the incident happens, or is it just random?
Okay, when you're talking about altered states or drug impairment,
Yeah.
pretty much all the all the statistics kind of go out the window, because you never know what their thought process is, because it is altered.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay. Now, the one thing you got to look at is basics. They're not going to want to be around an expired person very long, because I mean that's just kind of a primal thing, regardless of how drug addled you would be. You just don't want to drive around, with someone in your trunk. And
Right.
I can say there are instances where that very thing happened, where they drove around for an extended period of time until the point where decomp started.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying that that's not possible, because it is, but for the most part, they're going to want to try to get out of town. You need to look at the ways to get away from the Westwood as quickly as possible and where it heads.
Okay. So if we're looking at quick access, Gene, let's zoom out here.
They don't want to hit traffic lights. They don't want to hit stops. They want to get out to a place where they can not be seen.
Right.
So
And
The other factor too, just to keep in mind, I don't know if this is a variable, but Chris, if you back out a little bit, this is extremely close to the Virginia border too. So I don't know if there's a benefit to them crossing state lines, confusing jurisdiction. Maybe that's not a thing. No.
that I would, it would be more of being able to go invisible, and not so much state
Okay.
lines as it is, a dark, secluded place where they could pull off, get the body disposed of quickly, and then be on their way.
okay. So you come over, you hit Interstate 26 right here, Gene. You can go north into Virginia. You can go south into eventually North Carolina. Now, that's a pretty far drive into North Carolina. If you take north, you're going to take 26, and it's just going to kind of take you right into a small town here. So you're not going to be invincible right here. You are going to be traveling through towns. But if you take south on 26, you're going to hit right there. You're going to hit this exit. You're going to come across the mountain, and you don't have to get off of this interstate anymore for a good while. Do you think what's the likelihood that they get on this interstate and they're willing to travel 30, 45 minutes?
Oh, I think that's a very good possibility, especially if you're in a panic. If you're in a panic state, or if you have any sort of paranoia involved,
okay,
then that process is extended. So 30 miles is not out of the question. We've had them, be 30, 40, 50, 60 miles.
Oh, wow. Right. And we're going to bring Jennifer back on in just a moment. Yeah. I'm just kind of wanting to dig kind of a little deep into the profile of what could happen here. Mm-hmm. So you say that, 50, 60 possible miles. So if we I can tell you that it's just about 30 miles from Kingsport to Johnson City. It's not very far. Yep, not even that. 17.85 miles there. So.
And you've got the mountain, which is doesn't look like it has very much activity around it as far as houses or trails or anything like that. So that could be a possibility there.
Yes, that's
Right,
the Irwin
so-
Unicoi. That's the Irwin Unicoi area, but man, that's far. That's far from Kingsport. When you've got all the mountains up north in Virginia too, so it's and they have to drive through Johnson City too. It's on the highway, but you're going through a city at that point.
Well, you are, but again, like you said, you are on the interstate still. So, once you get through Irwin here and you start getting closer to the North Carolina line, Gene, you are kind of in a secluded area at this point.
Oh yeah.
You come to a scenic overlook here. This overlook, you can kind of see it there for everybody on the screen.
Flag Pond just down the road, Chris, too, is a really secluded hiking trails and everything.
So so you keep going down this interstate, and I mean, honestly, Gene, you can be here from that last known location in a 35-minute drive, and that's really just going the speed limit there.
And that would be the thing, you'd want to try to be incognito as much as possible, and doing 60 miles an hour down the interstate with other traffic is the best way to blend in and get away from the scene of the crime.
And right here, we come across another scenic overlook. Gene, how much do you put into, and you can be honest with us here on live, how much do you put into psychics and their abilities to give a possible location for a missing person?
I don't necessarily. I'm pretty much a straightforward kind of, by the book facts kind of a guy, but I don't discount anything, because there's a lot of stuff out there that we don't know about what capabilities some people may or may not have. I do know that, having listened to a ton of psychics on these cases, there's a lot of supposition that can be made and sound very accurate. Wow. And there are some people that are really, really good at it, being able to look at something like we've done just now and pull facts out that could line up. I mean, just from supposition.
Right.
So how many have I actually, in my 20 years of doing this, been led to a person by, a psychic? None.
Right.
Sorry. I mean, if trust me, if I found a good psychic, the first one that led me to wherever one of my victims was, they would be my best friend. And I would, I would key on them a lot, because I mean, this is all about bringing closure, right? And
it is.
I really don't care how the information gets to whoever needs to know it to get to that individual. It just needs to get there. So I would love to say that, there's something to it. And I just can't say that I can corroborate a single search where a psychic has led me to a closure.
Right. The reason I asked that, Ryan, is, we were talking Chris, the other day. Yeah.
I was just going to say, just to see what Gene thinks, the Sloan Bella that Jennifer mentioned, who,
that's where I was going to go.
So just so you know, Gene, Sloan Bella did this big long reading a few days ago, and what got Jennifer kind of like, what's going on here, is she knew things, she knew details about Layla's past that Jennifer had never really released publicly, and so that got people thinking. And one of the things that Sloan indicated that caught my attention was, she talked about location, and she said that they went on the interstate and they went to a truck stop. She said a real truck stop where people go in, buy snacks or whatever, roughly 6 or 7 miles away. And crazily enough, there is one that's roughly 6 miles away. It's Kingsport truck stop. What's it called? And if you map it, Chris, from West Side to, let me get it for you. Kingsport, give you the exact name of it. Kingsport Truck and Auto Plaza. And I was told, I didn't actually map it myself, I was told it's roughly 6 miles. I'm wondering the reality of that scenario. Is that the type of location that they would go to and try to hide remains?
Not knowing what is around the truck stop, I don't know. Sure, I mean, they could have done a handoff, depending on. You just don't know what's there or what was there when that occurred.
Could you call it up real quick? Just go zoom in on it. It's pretty isolated. There's fields around it. There's a tower. There is a cell tower I noticed with a secluded kind of little forest and a dirt road that goes right up to it. But if you search, can you search Kingsport Truck and Auto Plaza, Chris?
Yeah.
Well, if you follow a logic trail, just like we've done tonight, if we say, they're going to want to try to get out of town as quickly as possible, and you follow that route and you see a truck stop, it's very easy to just say, hey, this is where they went.
Right.
Yeah, what is the interstate there? I think 81 goes there, but they would have had to know
81.
about it. Like 81, it's right near the interstate, another interstate. So they'd have to go down 26 from West Side, get on 81. I think they would have had to know this existed. They're probably locals. Maybe they did know. Those clouds are getting in the way, though. You can't really see it, can you? That's kind of weird.
Yeah. So I want to go back and I want to talk about one thing that was talked about early on in the case, a search area that was talked about early on in the case. And Jennifer, just to let you know, you are back on our.
Am I back on?
No, you are.
Okay, didn't know because it still said that I was like, in the back room or whatever. Crap! You guys said a bunch of stuff, and I had a whole bunch of stuff, and you said a lot of things. Okay, here's the thing. Persons of interest have mentioned Virginia. I can't tell you how many times. Okay. There's that. What else was it? I don't think that someone would drive with her with a body in their vehicle, not all tweaked out, because the person of interest is a tweaker, not a fence user. I just don't see him driving, 60 minutes to an hour and a half away with a body in their vehicle without freaking out, right?
Right.
Also, my other thought was, could they have gone to the truck stop to meet up with someone and pass her along?
That was the point that I was trying to make. It could have been a handoff.
Yeah, a handoff. So, and here's the other little piece of information. A cooler also keeps getting brought up. Not just a small cooler, like the type of cooler that goes from one end of a truck bed to the other, like a work truck cooler. That she would 1,000% fit in, right? And so if I call you and I'm like, hey, I've got $1,000, I just need you to take this cooler and drop it off here. You know what I'm saying?
Are these
Right.
knowns? Or is there people that have that cooler? Or there are people that have
The
coolers like
cooler,
them?
no, the cooler is wherever she is, if it exists, right? But here's the thing about the cooler, okay? The West Side Inn, one of the prime suspects was living there and was a handyman there at the time, okay? He was also working for a company where he would drive the company truck. He was a foreman. He would drive the company truck. It was a big old dually. Um, and he could just throw this thing in the back of that dually, and he could look like he's on business, going wherever he's going. And according to his neighbor, and according to authorities, whatever happened did not happen in his room, it happened in someone else's room. But outside of his room, he had a cooler that size just kind of sitting next to the door. And everybody knew that it was his cooler and not to touch it because he's the handyman and he was kind of running the place as far as like, rugs. And so nobody touched his cooler. After the night of the 27th, the cooler disappeared and never came back.
So
Interesting.
gone.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah.
So of course, Gene, there are some persons of interest in the case. One of them is a well-known guy in the area that I think he
Yeah.
may be in jail right now. Um, are you are you all okay if we talk about this guy, or are we good to
Just
say this
don't
guy's
name
name?
him.
Don't name him. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Just don't name him.
Is he being held on a distraction charge, or is it?
Honestly, I don't know if he is still in jail. The guy who murdered Holland Snap is in jail, just not for her murder. But I know that the other guy has been in and out for the last 3 years, and they're trying to strong arm him by not giving him any kind of plea deals on any of the charges until he tells us where she is, type stuff. But he's at least 20 years older than I am, and he's been around the block. He's been to federal prison. You know what I mean? Like he knows his rights, all the things, and he's making things very, very, very difficult.
Okay, well, again, you have to get back to intent. If it was intentional and it was something that was a possibility all along, driving 30 minutes or an hour is not going to be out of the question whether they're tweaking or not, because
Yeah.
they made up their mind that this is going to
Right.
happen, and
Right.
they know that they're going to have to do certain things to make it go away.
Right,
So
but the intent may have happened sort of in the moment. Right? Like maybe she owed him money, or maybe she offered herself for a hit because she was sick, and he gave her the first hit, and then she refused him, and so he took advantage anyway, and then he finished her off. Like they're just again, it's my daughter, so like there's so many things that run through my head.
well, that's understandable.
Um,
So it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, there was an intent and it was planned out ahead of time.
right.
Or
So
hell, you know what? My daughter's got a mouth like a sailor. Okay, she might have just pissed him off. Honest to God, like she's feisty and fiery and you know what I mean. She has no filter. She's gonna tell you about yourself, all the things. Like she may have just pissed him off, or the boyfriend may have owed something, right? And
Mhm.
she just happened to walk in, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we got this.
right.
This is how we're gonna get that guy for what he owes us."
So Jennifer, I'm going to pull you back off to the backstage for just a moment. we're gonna
Okay.
go over. I'm gonna go over one more location with Gene, and then we'll
Absolutely.
bring you back on here again in just a moment. Okay.
I'm just
So
gonna keep playing with my plants. Go right ahead.
so so Gene, I've got a location shared on our screen right now, and this is the green belt. Okay, this is what we talked about earlier. Can you all see that pretty well? Can you see it when I zoom in?
Yeah, I've got a pretty good idea. This is
Awesome.
around the west side, correct?
It does track down below the west side.
Mhm.
So let's say, let's see here. Let me find it. Indian Trailhead.
American
Okay,
Way right there,
so here
Chris.
we go.
Yeah,
See the American Way
that's
connection? This is where it connects to the Greenbelt. This was the hotel. The Greenbelt runs all the way down here. I'm gonna show you this on the Google Maps in just a moment, and it runs all the way up here. West Side Inn is somewhere located right through here, Gene. But this goes all the way down through here, all the way down along the riverhead, down where the river intersects the North Fork and North and South Fork of the Holston River. So,
by the way, and just a quick
yep.
update too. That big Elm Road area that you just showed near the river. Police did a another search out there. There's a place called Five Caves, I believe it is. So they've searched a bunch of areas along the Greenbelt. That was one of them. I don't know how much of it they've searched. And it's so hard with this story, and you can hear, Gene, just how much of this is based on
Hearsay.
people have said things. Yeah, it's here tons of hearsay, so it's so hard to pick where's the best place to search. So much of it is rumor, and that's what we struggle with constantly, is picking a high priority and high importance area.
Well, again, and Chris knows me and my methods enough that if you take both of those areas, both the AmeriCorps and the Westwood or West Wind or whatever it is, and you search, you turn every possible stone for 1,000 feet, maybe a half a mile. You do everything possible. You look at everything that can possibly harbor a body, or where you could put it and it would be discreet. You look at everything in the most minute detail for that first 1,000 feet, and then after that you start looking for water. Everybody thinks that water will wash away their sins, and that's where they go next.
Huh.
So then you start looking, at what features that would be easily accessible that are very dark and off the beaten track. And you start looking for access, strictly on access, because most of these people that, do these things, they don't have four-wheel drives. They don't have, a rig that can go off-road. They're driving a Honda Civic, for God's sakes, or something like that. So they're going to want to get off a trail somewhere where they can not ruin their car, not get stuck, because obviously that defeats the purpose. And Chris and I have discussed this. I have found people that were 30 yards off the road because that's as far as they could get. They drag them out there, and they're very difficult to move. If you've ever tried to move a 150-pound mannequin that's limp, and there's nothing to grab a hold of, it's a very difficult thing to do in the dark over terrain that you are unfamiliar with. So that's the way you need to approach this as you're looking at these areas and where next to go, in my view. And because you have, the cooler situation is interesting, and yeah, that's an absolute great way to put it in there, make it look like you're a sportsman or a fisherman or whatever, and take off and hook them down the road. And dump it off somewhere. The entire cooler.
Mhm.
So, and again, that's why I want to know, did somebody know that that cooler made it to the back of the truck and that it was riding around in the back of the truck and it stayed there and then suddenly it was gone?
Mhm.
We hear that it was on a back porch or next to this door and it was there and then, the next day it was gone. Well, that's probably something that the detectives either looked at and discounted, or they looked at it and came up with a dead end.
Right.
I mean, that's obvious. That's kind of police work. That's kind of hits you in the face.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the thing is unfortunately, they aren't going to give us.
They can't.
Yeah.
It's an active case. Anything that they give you could end up being rejected by the court because it's tainted evidence.
Right. Yep. You're right. So and so let's go back to the AmeriCorps Hotel, and let's say that we don't know 1,000% that she for sure made it to the West Side Inn and passed away there, right? Do you think that it's worth searching the green belt, one end to the other, all the way down here to all the way down here? Because the green belt runs right here along the AmeriCorps Hotel, and she was seen running through these woods, through this field, and through these woods out towards that green belt.
Did you say there was a creek flowing through that?
There is
Yeah,
absolutely.
right there.
How many times has it flooded?
Oh, Gene, a lot. Here's the creek,
Yeah.
a little bit better view. So if you were to,
Yeah, you got to look at that creek bed. You got to look at it.
yeah,
And you know the drill. If it flowed and if it flooded and it moved at any sort of rate at all, then you got to start looking downstream.
right. So if she's somehow in this creek bed or something, there's a chance that it could have flooded. She could have floated downstream. She could have gotten caught under a log, a rock, anything underneath bridges, any type of strainer that may be in that creek. Is that correct?
And I can give you an example. We had a young lady that drove into a low water crossing here in Central Texas,
Right.
and got swept away. And there was a full-on search. We did everything we could to try to find that young lady. And it was years later that a hiker found her skull, just her skull, years later on that creek bed.
Wow.
So there you have it, guys. I think that it is a still very good possibility that we need to search that area along the green belt. Now, Gene, they have searched this area, but it is always possible that people miss things, right? We know that all too well, right?
We searched this area with a fine-tooth comb. Oh yeah, what is that? Yeah. I and it's timing too. She could have been in one spot when they were searching over here, and then the next thing it floods, and she could be over here when they're searching here. It's by the grace of God, we are in the right place at the right time to find anything. And at this point, especially if the water was involved and it's been flooded, it's going to be bones.
Right.
And that's going to be probably what you're looking for on that creek bed. And if you're not a trained forensics searcher, you'll see a vertebrae and go, oh, look, there's an animal bone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Gene, before we wrap this up with you and talk a little bit more with Jennifer and kind of let you go, I know what time is it? Oh yeah, man, it's for an old man like you. We can't keep you here.
Hey,
we're gonna have to let you go.
it's past my bedtime, but it's okay.
Can you everything that you've heard here? Can you give us any sort of leads, any sort of ideas? Even if we was to start over in this search, what would you recommend us do as we start over and just start from square one looking for Layla Santanello?
Well, it is such a hot mess of a story.
Right.
Trying to make sense or get any sort of logic out of that because of the altered state of everyone that was involved with it is going to be difficult. And we have the added impact of it's been 3 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And memories change. And I can't personally speak to, it's been a long time since I've done any hallucinogenic drugs, but those memories are long faded for me. And, I don't know that we're getting accurate information this far out.
Right. Just to be clear real quick, the drugs, and I guess they could be hallucinogenic, but the drugs that we're talking about are math problems. Math. If we want to, talk about, well, you said it earlier. I think we can say it now. We're talking about meth.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get it. That's the kind of the drug of choice, these days, unless it is fentanyl, and that's dangerous as hell. But
right.
you got to go back to basics, Chris. You got to go with the facts that she was seen here, and she was supposedly seen there. You know for a fact that she was at the AmeriCorps. You know for a fact.
1000%.
Yep.
There is indisputable evidence.
Yep.
The one thing that I would kind of question is, was there any road construction around that area? Do you know of? Because
do some research.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at some stuff.
The signs that they put up, the blinking signs that say detour, and they're on the trailer, and they got a little generator, and
yes,
they put
yes.
Those are LPRs as well, right? Almost all of them are LPRs. Did you know that?
No.
Nope.
So check and see what road construction was going on around there at the time, and if they had any signs up, whether they were LPRs and whether they were feeding to SO or the PD at the time.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
But you got to go back to basics, and you start from, let's do 1,000 feet, and let's go back to seeing if there's anything that can be found in that 1,000 feet, and then we go to the water feature, and then from the water feature, you're going to have to. That's going to be a boots on the ground kind of thing, and I would imagine that you're not going to have anything but small animal predation in that area. If you're going to have anything at all, it's not like you have hogs or any big animals that would be doing any foraging of that nature, but you'd have raccoons and possums and that sort of thing along the greenbelt, I'm sure. And they will opportunistically feed and scatter bones all over. It just takes them a little bit longer. And you will be looking for a phalange or, a metatarsal or some small bone, or, You might get incredibly lucky and find a larger bone that's stuck in the sand somewhere on a creek bed. But I mean,
Right.
that's it. And then of course, after 2 miles, that's what we call an ROW search. Rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because then that exceeds your resources and your ability to be able to do that without some actionable intel. You need good, hard evidence to go look at someplace. That's why our police officers and our sheriffs are so stretched at having to deal with the caseload that they have to deal with. They can't spend all of that time doing the 2 mile search. They can do the 1,000-foot search, and sometimes they kind of don't even get that done real well. But anything past that puts a strain on their resources, and they have a very difficult time doing that. So they have to have actionable intel. They've got to have something that will point them in a direction, say, go look here. And as time goes by, I mean, I've got some cases that are 23, 25 years old that we would love to solve, but it's ROW. They could be anywhere in the world at this point. So again, go back to basics. You try to rule out all the probables that you can, and then after that, you have to sort through the improbables to determine which ones best fit the possibilities.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because that's the way it works.
That creek right there is it's a tough one. There are a lot of strainers, and it's often very muddy. So it's not like you can always see the creek bed. You kind of have to, you almost have to stick a camera under the strainers to search it that well, if you can, because often it's so muddy. We'd almost have to wait for the water to clear up and then search during those times. But it's a tough one. That creek is a very tough one.
Any creek searches are going to be hard. So that's my advice. I mean, it's unfortunate that we've gotten to the point where we have to rely on questionable information from people who are in an altered state. But I think the police are doing their part. They got persons of interest that they've picked up and they put on distraction charges, and they're holding them in jail, and they're trying to, make life uncomfortable for them so that they'll give some information up. I mean, that's a method that they use that works. But, if you've got a guy that's got, federal pen time, he's going to go, yeah, well, okay, give it your best shot. Been there, done that. You don't scare me with, pen time.
And that could be the problem with our possible lead suspect here.
And, when you have somebody that is that hardened and that callous toward life, this is nothing to them.
Right.
And I hate to be blunt about it, but that's I mean, I've encountered these people too many times to say it any other way.
Right. Well, Gene, we appreciate your expertise. It's always great to have you on here with us. This case is definitely not cut and dry, or we wouldn't be here talking about it, right?
Yep.
This is a hard case. This is something that, we're going to have to work hard on. We're going to have to really go back to the basics, go back to square one. And I think Gene's kind of opened our mind to that a little bit. And so I do appreciate all the insight, Gene. I hope you're doing well down there in Texas. Being the old man that you are, sitting behind the desk, just teaching the kids nowadays.
Every day that I wake up alive, I thank God. Here I am, one more day.
Yeah.
No, guys, Gene, he truly is a legend. He is out there teaching people to do what he's done for many years. And, there's going to be a whole new generation of drone pilots out there searching for missing people, just like Gene Robinson.
I'm hoping so.
One more question, and I'll let you go, Gene, and maybe you could share this with us. How is your research at the body farm doing down there right now?
Well, I haven't been doing too much on the body farm these days because it is just flipping hot. Um, that's all there is to it. Like I said, it's hotter than the hinges of hell down here. And for this old man, unless I have air conditioning, I start melting at about 88. So actually, uh, Dr. Westcott and I have talked about a couple of projects that we would like to do, and I'm not sure that they're going to be as fruitful as they have been in the past, but there's still some things on the table that we're looking at,
Right.
and I'm watching. I'm going to be going to the commercial drone show in Vegas at the end of the month. And I'm going to be
Cool.
looking for new technologies that we can bring to bear. And you know me, I'm going to look at it in a totally different light than what
Right.
they bring them to the show for. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. Gene, one thing I've brought up to you before, I think I'd like to bring up again is always remember that we have a body farm right here in East Tennessee, right there in
Yep.
Knoxville on the University of Tennessee campus. If you want to talk to whoever you have to talk to, man, I would love to get bodies in the ground here on the body farm right here because let me tell you, you know it as well as I do, Gene. The 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 climate here is a completely different climate than what
Oh,
you
absolutely,
have down in Texas.
absolutely. Soil's different. Everything is different. Yeah, I get it, and we recognize that as a variable on even the research that we've done in the past. And that's why I have to temper it. I have to tell you, this is a big old grain of salt coming. Your environment is completely different than ours, and we're just going to be making a broad brush kind of a generalization when we tell you to go do something the way we've done it in the past.
Right. Yeah. So, but I would love to be able to get some research going up here on, the different spectrums on our cameras, what we can look at. It would be great. It would be great to start. So, if you got some strings you can pull or anything, would love to get that going. I mean, me and Ryan are only about an hour drive from the body farm, so it would be nothing for us to drive down there once every week or two and photograph the body farm, every week or so. Wouldn't be an issue
I've
at all.
got I've got the contact email that Gene can reach out to for us.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the only string that I have that I keep pulling on runs right through Freeman Ranch and Texas State University. So that's my only string.
right. Well, Gene, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. We're going to speak to Layla's mother just for a few more minutes. You are welcome to stay. Um, I'm going to throw you on the backstage here. And again, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I will definitely have you back on again soon. And actually, you know what? I know I keep extending this a little bit longer. I just, that, what is it? Yeah, that beautiful bald spot on that head, man. I can almost see my face in it. I just can't let you go yet. Oh, Gene, I'm just picking. I'm just picking with you. I love you to death, man. You've done so much for me. I really appreciate everything. Um, one thing that we have to mention. One thing that we have to mention here is the idea of bringing EquiSearch in to search for Layla Santanello. Now, me and you discussed this on the phone a little bit, and you told me that you were sure that they would be glad to come up here and help. But we'd have to have the request, right? We'd have to have a request from law enforcement or an approval from law enforcement. I'm going to go ahead and bring Jennifer back on the stage here. Jennifer, we're talking about the possibility of EquiSearch coming up here and searching for your daughter, which would be an amazing asset.
Yeah, I can hear you. I heard everything.
So
You just can't hear me.
I have Jennifer has sent an email to the lead detective and maybe a couple more here to request that they request EquiSearch to come in. Gene, do you think after 3 years, what kind of asset do you think EquiSearch would be in a case like this?
I think it would be an amazing asset. Like I was telling Ryan the other day, there are a handful of other, not as great as EquiSearch, obviously, but like Q, for instance, and a handful of other really amazing. I know a guy who's got like an entire crew of military vets that they do search and rescue and recovery and He's offered to help, but I'm scared because I don't know where to start, and I don't want to waste precious time that could go to somebody else, if that makes sense.
Well, that would be part of it, wouldn't it, Gene? If EquiSearch came in, I mean, they don't just randomly start looking. There's an analysis that's conducted, I'm assuming, and they decide, right? They decide on where you all feel the best places are. Is that kind of how it would work?
Well, one of the things that because EquiSearch does have the reputation that they have, is that law enforcement is liable to look at them as more of an asset and would be more willing to share information with them for them to go spend their time wisely.
Yeah, you haven't met my law enforcement.
Well,
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. Me and Ryan did, and I told
Don't get
Ryan
me
that I felt like
wrong.
they may be more apt to share that information.
Like,
well,
Yeah.
Tim
I
Miller.
love my detective. He's awesome and all the things, but he also is a little egotistical, and I don't know. I'm just
Right. Go ahead, Gene.
praying to God he gives me an answer sometimes. I don't know.
You
Well,
was talking about Tim Miller?
Tim Miller calls himself a hillbilly on a horse, but he's a smart guy, and he has been around the block a heck of a lot more times than I have, and he knows how to deal with all different types of people.
Okay,
Right.
good.
And
Good.
if they made the request, I'm sure that Tim would give them a response in short order, and he would marshal the assets that he thought were best.
Okay.
And again, it's going to be, he does need a place to start, and he needs to
Yeah.
know where to begin. So again, that's where law enforcement is probably going to be the biggest help.
Yeah.
And to
Awesome.
their benefit, Gene, I think also it's what you just said. I mean, they have limited resources. They can only search so much. And what
Right.
EquiSearch does is there's resources right there. You're not charging anyone. There's resources they can apply based on the information and intel that they have, right? So it's a win-win for everyone. And it doesn't mean anything negative if EquiSearch ends up finding Layla. Everyone wins.
Right, exactly. I agree.
Yep.
And Tim would make that decision, and he's done that over 500 times since I've known him. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yep. So Jennifer, let's really try to make that happen. Try to get that request sent out.
Hey, I'm
would
working
love
on
to
it.
see. I would love to see them come up here and
Me
really put
too.
forth their best effort. I think they would be a tremendous asset, and
It'd be amazing.
maybe we could get the old Gene Robinson on a plane up here.
Yeah.
Well,
And Gene,
I appreciate.
I did want to say real quick.
Yeah.
Chris, if it's okay, I did want to say to Gene real quick. What I appreciate about you, Gene, is you don't come on here sweet, sugarcoating anything. You're telling us flat out you got to start from ground zero. You've got to search the creek, and then it's pretty much, that's just how it is. And you're right. There's a lot of rumor. There's a lot of, and like you said, when you're dealing with people who are under the influence, who knows what people are saying is true, what's not true. It is a mess.
Oh yeah.
It is a mess. You're right.
Yeah,
So,
and the rumors around here, it's like, like a crazy ass game of telephone, A lot of
Yeah.
rumors have both girls' stories and ideals and details mixed up, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I grew up in a small town. I get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Have
guys,
you
thank you
guys
all.
talked to Gene about Holland at all? I'm just curious.
We haven't yet, I don't think, Chris, right? We haven't
No,
really.
we haven't. That would
No.
that is something I definitely will get on the get on the phone with Gene one day and talk to him about
Yeah.
Holland's case.
So
There's
that
several
one's
cases I'd like to talk to Gene about,
yeah,
and
that one's like a whole. It almost seems impossible. You know what I mean? Like if the reality really is that one person disposed of her and no one else was involved, it's gonna be damn near impossible to find her.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that makes me very sad.
Well, and you got to look at the case of Tara Grinstead there in Georgia. That case didn't get cracked for 10 years.
Yeah.
So
Right.
At this point, we know who did it. The police know who did it. Are we still rolling? If I say something, can you? Or we're live. Never mind.
yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
edit easily.
I can't. Okay. Well,
Um,
I'll tell you. I will tell you this after the live.
we'll say this, guys, and then we'll get ready. We'll cut this off. You know, Detective Detective Claire says in an interview, that pretty much there's a group of people
Yep.
that know what happened to Layla.
Yes.
That group of people are cowards,
Oh yeah.
and pretty much, you know what, this is where we'll end our live at. Give me just a moment. I want to pull this up just because I want Gene to hear this out of Detective Claire's mouth himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know where you're
And
going,
that's
Chris.
where we'll end it here, guys, for everybody.
Okay.
I think that everyone needs to hear this.
Well, and in my opinion, some of them are cowards, but I have a feeling at least one or two are sociopaths or psychopaths, and I think at least one or two are enjoying the hell out of this.
Yeah.
There's that.
They got away
Right.
with it. They're enjoying inflicting pain on the rest of us. That kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Let it roll, Chris.
In just a moment, I gotta find it. I apologize. Unless you have it. Do you have it straight?
I don't.
Where you can pull it? Okay. I do. Give me just a second right here.
Is this picking on your age, Gene? Is this a common thing? He do this to you all the time?
It snuck up on me so easily and so quickly. And just suddenly everybody started to comment on my age. And I'm going, what happened?
Yeah. It's
But,
funny.
when I look at it, at 70, I used to think 60 was really old when I was
Yeah.
growing
Right.
up. And I'm here parked at 70 now. Still, I have said I'm not going to be running through the field, stomping around, looking, in the heat and the woods and all. I'm going to quit doing that. But, I haven't stopped. I mean, nothing's changed. I've slowed down a little bit, but I sure haven't stopped.
Good for you. That's what keeps
awesome.
you young. That's what keeps you moving.
I don't know about that. I mean, the golden years ain't so golden, when you have to do warm ups before you even get out of bed. That's kind
At least you do them. Imagine all the folks out there that don't even bother.
of true enough.
Let's see. I think I have found this video. So give me just a second to get it popped up here. Yeah. It's all fun and games. I love Gene to death. He knows it. Gene he's taught me so much. He's done so much for me.
Yeah, and I can cut you off just any time too. You keep pushing it too hard.
You better be careful, buddy.
I think I know what this guy is saying about the group of people that are involved with drugs and that sort of thing. That there are a few of those in the group that are empowered, and then there are a bunch in that group that are controlled.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's see here.
What? There's what? Warm or cold? Cold. There you go. Oh no! Oh no! My phone's out there. Oh Lord! Well, at least it's under the umbrella. It's under the umbrella. It's okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, here comes that rain.
Okay, so
Struggling with this new technology there, Chris?
I know, Gene.
When you share it, Chris, you got to make sure you select the sound too. You can share a tab; it's easier to get the sound going.
um, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have that. I don't actually have the full clip. Anyways, I thought that I did. That clip is just 10 seconds saying, you know, if you can pull it up, Ryan, that'd be great.
Pressure's on, Ryan.
I know. From July, right, Chris? That was the July statement he made, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. It's not easy to find. You know what? Real Rockin' Robin, I bet you can find it faster than I can. You're always good at that stuff.
Yeah, it's where Detective Claire talks about the people.
Dead air. This is why I could never do things like this because, even as well organized as I am, I still would have a hard time finding that video.
Yeah, that's not easy. Well, Chris, I have.
Hey, I think I found it.
Good, because I have all I have is I have like a live that I did that I covered it, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough
For the next show.
because I keep pausing it.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you find it?
I would have to go through that whole video, man. Oh, Real Rockin' Robin says she found it.
Oh, wait, give me one. She usually does. She's pretty good.
Ron said, I bet you can find it. And bam, man, a minute goes by, she has it found.
She's fast.
She said, there you go,
Hey,
Ryan.
if you want me to share, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
Share screen.
Welcome to the stream, Kiki 2025 True Crime.
What in the world, man? Oh, I think I got it. There we
Got it?
go. Technical difficulties here. Go ahead and add that to the stage. Yep.
Okay.
Thanks. Years after Kingsport woman Layla Santanello went missing, the lead investigator of the Kingsport Police Department says
Turn your mic off, Ryan.
he believes she is dead.
I muted him.
That news came to us last week, the day before what would have marked 3 years since Layla's disappearance. They say that's this conclusion is based on search warrants, subpoenas, and interviews they've conducted. Investigators also tell us they believe a small group of people has information about Layla's location that they have not yet shared. News Channel 11's Brooke Malat spoke with the lead investigator today. So, Brooke, what did he tell you about the case?
Yes, Sarah, like you said, I was able to sit down today with the lead investigator on Layla Santanello's case, when it comes to that, we were able to hear about where things remain on the ongoing investigation.
Hello.
Not stopping. There's no slowing down. This is not bringing forth this information now is not a surrender or bringing a white flag that we're done with this case. It doesn't stop. It's part of my life. It's part of all of our lives. We're never going to stop till we find her.
For Detective Corporal William Clare, he recounts 3 years ago when Santanello's disappearance first became known.
So witnesses called in that had seen her at AmeriCorps. So I started there, interviewed some witnesses and backtracked. And then I realized that we had a much larger case on our hands. Essentially, the week prior, from the 20th of June to the 27th of June, I'm confident exactly where she was every day. And then after the 27th, didn't really know what happened.
Today, KPD, along with Detective Corporal Clare, have reason to believe Layla Santanello is dead. Clare says this is due to conclusions based off analysis of the evidence obtained from search warrants, subpoenas, interviews, and other investigative leads.
It's just solid investigative work, interviewing witnesses, following up on tips. When we develop a lead, we run it to the ground and see where it takes us to.
But when it comes to any useful information, Clare urges those to come forward with contacting either TBI or the Kingsport Police Department.
I think more frustrating than anything. Frustrating for the fact that I know that there is a small group of people who can end this nightmare for this family. And they're just selfish and they're self-centered. And that's ultimately the problem.
And I think it's very important that everybody understand that even though the clues may diminish, these guys never stop looking. Those cases are inherited. If he got promoted, if he made sergeant or went to lieutenant, somebody else would inherit that case. It doesn't go away. They don't stop looking. So that's one of those things that everybody needs to be aware of. Those guys don't just say, okay, that's it, it's done, it's over. So that's a good clip.
Yep. Now he does go on. Like I said, what we missed there is he does go on to say there's that small group of people, and he calls them cowards. He says they know what happened to Layla, and they're cowards, is what he says. I was glad to hear Detective Claire use those words because that's exactly what they are. If there is a small group of people out there that know what happened to Layla, I would say it over the live stream here, just like Detective Claire said it live to the news channel. They are cowards. Come forward. If you know something and you know where Layla's at, come forward. Please bring an end to what you see on the screen earlier, and that was a chaotic life of a mother grieving her missing child, of a mother grieving the missing child that is the mother of her granddaughter. There's a child out there that's never going to get to see her mother again. Bring closure to this child before she grows up. Bring closure to this family. If you know something, just turn in a tip, an anonymous tip. Turn in, leave a note somewhere. Do whatever you have to do to bring closure to this family. Go Siphon T says, I hope it burdens them so bad that they can't sleep. It may not at the moment. I'm sure it plays over in their head. I'm sure that they're going to see Layla's face a lot in their life. And I hope, just like you said, that it burdens them so bad that they can't sleep at night because they continue to see that girl's face. Anyone that would hurt, that would hurt a young woman, a child, anyone who would, kidnap or hurt another human, I hope that you get what's coming to you. And thank you, Ryan, for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I could continue to go on, but we might use some words that are going to get us kicked off of YouTube. Thank you, Gene. I appreciate it. I know you're very passionate about the work that you do, and I do appreciate everything. Until next time, guys, we're just echoes in the mountains.